how is it going, everyone? It is Curry Puff, and we are back with Draft League GLDL. So I'm a big ass idiot, big idiot. Forgot to have the mic turned on, so we're gonna be doing a little bit of post comms. I do apologize about that, but we are back, and we're gonna try and get this done. We're gonna try and make it not awkward, because I definitely feel like my commentary was a little bit better before, but I don't know how it's going to be right now. In all seriousness, though, this week we are against Toxin. Sorry, I just read it. El Flamingo saying he just wants one of my cursed thumbnails. Yeah, so we're against Toxin this week. Toxin's got a very interesting team, which is very weak to ground. Shortly after the match, he has made he made a change at least, so it's not going to be as weak to ground. But he definitely has a lot of offensive threat with Goldango, Iron Moth, in Sandy Shops, especially on the special side. Hariyama does a lot of work and is a really good mon, but overall, we are kind of going into this match expecting the Glade. We are Glalie, Shocks, Moth, Murkrow, Goldango. The reason why I thought the Glalie was because it's Toad Scroll, so I ended up dropping that. And I forget what the other mon was. I probably didn't bring it. But, so on my end, I am bringing the Iron Valiant, the Iron Jugulis, Jugs. You're going to see me at one point in this video just hold my hands right next to my chest because I said Juggies or Jugs. But yeah, Iron Jugulis. From there, we have, and to be honest, I'm really liking Valiant and Jugulis. Jugulis I wasn't as sold on, but I definitely think it is a lot better mon. We have the Gothitelle, as you're going to probably see about now, the Dunsparce, the Ceruledge, and the Azumarill. Ceruledge was just really a basic set. I just took it right off the, whatchamacallit. Oh, cool. If you look in the mirror, you can kind of see the game my wife's playing. You can see her headphone. All right. So going into this match, we got our little thick boy in the bottom. I definitely want to bring that in the back. I definitely think for game one, we are going to want to go more of the TR. I think Trick Room does offer a little bit more here. With an Iron Valiant, got the Tail lead. It's a little bit weird, but I did kind of want to get an item reveal here. So we end up going with the Goth, Iron Valiant, Raz, and Azumarill. Spoiler, Raz does some work. Raz is good, but there's also another. Well, I'm not going to spoil that part. I did end up messing up with the Dunsparce, in the sense that it was supposed to be. God damn it. It was supposed to be Terra Ground. I did not Terra Ground it. In fact, it was just Terra Normal. My wife just sent me just a daddy long legs looking for a mommy wide thighs. So we had the Glalie lead and the Murkrow. We got our mixed match of the. We got our best girls out there, and we're not sure if Valiant is both a girl, but who's judging? I love it nonetheless. We did find out though that it was Scarf, and I must have missed the Covet Cloak here. So he ends up going, and this is kind of an interesting play. He goes for Screech on Murkrow and Ice Spinner on the Glalie. Screech ends up missing. I don't really think it's going to matter judging from the damage here, but even if it did go through, I was sashed. But yeah, judging from that, I probably would have lived on maybe 12 HP, but we do get a kill on the Murkrow, finding out that it's 100% not Eviolite or Sash, so that's good for game 2 to know, and we get the Trick Room up. So definitely a little bit of an awkward situation here, knowing that the Glalie is Scarf, we know that it's going to be faster, and we have the Goldango here. I'm not sure if it's specs. I ended up deciding to hold off on revealing Wide Guard this game. I didn't really think it was as valuable, so I go for the Helping Hands Shadow Sneak. We know he hasn't Terra'd, and I feel like he's going to hold the Terra, so we're going to get a nice little bit of chip damage here on the Goldango. And that's really what we're going to be looking for here. I was really kind of fine with both Pokemon dying. And we're going to end up finding out that, well, not both Pokemon are going to die. But yeah, so it's definitely interesting. I don't Trick Room with a fast mon is definitely always awkward, which is why I had the Shadow Sneak in this case, and just because I hit Goldango, Iron Moth, and a couple other mons for at least 1/3, which 1/3 is getting something into kill range sometimes. And I mean, reality is right here. This puts us in a decent position because we're gonna still get the damage off. So it's not like we're losing anything this turn beyond the Iron Valiant. I'm totally fine with Iron Valiant going down here. This lets me bring in one of my slower mons. He does bring in the Sandy Shocks. We get that that Shadow Sneak off, and then he is going to go for the Shadow Ball. He does not reveal the Dazzling Gleam that he will have in game 2, and he does not reveal the Make It Rain. So in this case, yeah, it works out just for us. This allows us to bring in Raz. Now, Raz is an AV to Dunsparce. An AV to Dunsparce just soaks up Sandy Shocks here, especially, and contemplating here whether or not to go for Drill Run, Earthquake, but so this is where we found out we're not Ground Terra. But yeah, so knowing that Goldango is Life Orbed, I have the inkling that it's probably going to protect this turn. I'm not going to Hyper Drill it, so we're just going to go for the Earthquake as a precaution. I know Gothitelle is going to survive that pretty decently, and it will allow us to do Chip. Now, here's something that I actually thought right here was it was going to be a Terra Flying. Now, I think if he went for Terra Flying, he would have been in a much better position, because that would have wasted my turn completely. He would have gotten some Chip, and I probably would have been in a lot of trouble. Because it's not Terra Flying, it's Terra Electric. He gets the boost in damage, but I found out later looking at the pace that it's Safety Goggles, and again, it looks like he definitely heavily prepped for the Toad Scroll, which is, the Glalie was really the thing that told me not to bring it. And yeah, I mean, we see the Dunsparce just popping off and doing some damage here. And then we take actually like maybe 70 damage. So we're looking at a 3-hit KO here, possibly, depending on what Goldango does. Goldango isn't going to want to stay in here. So that's why I'm going to end up going for the Psychic into the Goldango slot with the Earthquake. I figure Earthquake's just safe. He is going to go for the Protect on the Sandy Shocks, which is a good move. And this just lets us get a lot of like chip on the Glalie. So after this turn kind of plays out, we are kind of free to just Earthquake again. He can't switch in the Goldango for free, and he can't protect with the Glalie, so we know Glalie is just a free KO here. And he is, at this point, going to try, and that crit does actually help us guarantee that we're going to get this KO in the next turn. But he does go for a double Protect on this turn, which is... it's smart. So we're going into the last turn of Trick Room on this. So you see right there. And if he gets that double Protect, it means that we are now in a bad spot. We only have a Zoom Rail in the back. And if we go, which is why I've actually saved the Terra at this point, because at least I have Terra Water. I can survive a Make It Rain a lot better. That being said, he gets that double Protect. So he gets that 50% chance to get that double Protect. We do pick up the kill on Glalie. That crit in the long run doesn't end up really mattering because we could double that spot up for free. And with that Psychic and an Earthquake and another Psychic, it just changes who gets the kill in reality. But yeah, so here we go. We come out of Trick Room. This is not looking exactly the greatest, but this is the Dunsparce. The Dunsparce is amazing. I will say he definitely makes a strange play here. He goes for the Thunderbolt on the Gothitelle. Now, my reasoning, I think, for behind this would be to make it so that the Make It Rain was single target, but we do know we live that, especially with the AV. It was calc to... the Dunsparce was calc to live a Steel Choice Spec, a Steel Terra Choice Spec Make It Rain. So Life Orb 1 is not going to get that KO. We live with that 13. We go for the Earthquake, and our boy Raz, the Raspberry, picks up that KO. Gets a double kill here. So the Dunsparce, putting in words, the long anal beads. We didn't go for the short anal beads. Our boy, the butt plug. honestly, calling the Dunsparce anal beads or butt plug, the anal beads are on the wrong side. Unless you want to go inserting the big end first and not the pointy end to make it an easier entrance. Just saying. Game Freak's design, they should have put the horn on the front. Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so we win game 1. We don't reveal Azumarill, which is actually kind of nice for us. So that keeps that hidden for game 2, which was kind of what I was hoping for. I'm still really surprised he went for the Thunderbolt onto the Goth. If he doubled the Dunsparce that turn, I would have been in a lot worse shape. Because he would have gotten a double KO. But he might not have realized that was AV. So I think for Toxin, that was probably the biggest misplay on that game. Now, do I win or lose off of that? Not necessarily, but it makes my win condition a lot harder. But so we're going into game 2. This time I decided to go with Iron Jujulas, and I decided to go with the Iron Valiant. For the lead, we have Ceruledge in the back and Azumarill, and I definitely make a big mistake. I think this turn 1, which definitely makes the game a little bit harder. I think I would have had a way easier game if I just waited on tearing turn 1. But the thought here was Gholdengo gets Thunderbolt. And while I would probably live that Thunderbolt, I wasn't confident and I make that bad decision because I figured we know he has Shadow Ball, we know he has Make It Rain, we know he has Protect. So at this point, what is his last move? So we are going to go, I thought it would be Thunderbolt to get around Wide Guard. But we're going to still go for the Wide Guard just in case it isn't and it's a Make It Rain. I end up going for a little bit more of a safer turn this turn, and I just go for that Tailwind, and I Terrasilize. So this turn covers for both spread and for getting Tailwind out, which I actually get some really good information here. I could have actually delayed my Tailwind by 1 turn, which is really interesting because I am going to outspeed the Gholdengo even in Tailwind once the Tailwind goes up. So we also find out here that the Gholdengo is Fairy Tera. The Fairy Tera is... I kind of completely forgot it got Dazzle and Gleam, but this is why the Wide Guard exists, because Wide Guard covers for Dazzle and Gleam. Terra Blast probably would have been a good decision here for him for that, to get around that, but it is what it is. So he gets his Tailwind up, and this is where we really do find out that we are faster than the Gholdengo, even without Tailwind, which is cool. I think that's actually really neat. I mean, that's how good this Iron Jugulis is. But yeah, so Iron Valiant puts in some work here with the Wide Guard and just protecting both Pokemon which are weak to the Dazzle. We are going to go for the Spirit Break, and I decided to go for Snarl just to kind of start weakening the Gholdengo. Earth Power would have probably been a little bit safer here, and I don't know if I was thinking that Murkrow had Sash or he's going to switch something in that had... Yeah, no, you know what it was? So I thought Spirit Break into the Murkrow, and if he switches in Iron Moth, I still lower the special attack. And if I hit both Snarls, it's -2, and the Gholdengo's -1. So that puts us in a pretty decent defensive position. It's not the most offensive turn, but it at least kind of covers, and this is where it's like, I definitely think if he had brought the Iron Moth this game too, it would have been a tougher match, because Iron Moth pretty much walled the Iron Valiant, because I only had the Close Combat and the Spirit Break. I wasn't like overly worried because I did have Earth Power here, so I did have an answer for it, and now that he definitely is Terra'd, he can't stop me from hitting it. But yeah, so we go for that Snarl, and we go for the Spirit Break. We know the Spirit Break does kill the Murkrow, and just getting a -2 if the Iron Moth did switch in would have been really nice. So he goes for the Shadow Ball. We actually lived that pretty decently, considering. I mean, that is with a -1, but considering that like my special defense is 60 and HP is 4 for EVs, like no EVs, I think, in special defense. Alright, I might have put a couple. I don't know. I didn't really bulk it out because I was sashed, so he never finds out that I'm sashed here, which is nice. Which keeps this hidden for Game 3 if we go into a Game 3. So we go into this, we're going to go for that Earth Power. At this point, I want to get Chip. He might switch it out, he might switch it in. That's going to give us some pretty good damage there. And we are going to go for the Spirit Break on the Murkrow just to make sure we are getting this KO. And it's double-edged sword. I want to make sure he can't get Tailwind up next turn. At the same time, I want to make sure he can't do any damage with it. But unfortunately, the bad negative part there is he gets a Pokemon in for free under Tailwind, which I do as well with Ceruledge here. He's going to end up bringing in the Sandy Shocks, which this is where I think I made the... Oh, I didn't make the biggest mistake here, but because I was playing overly cautious with the Iron Juke, I should have saved that Terra for the Ceruledge, because Ceruledge looked extremely excellent in this case. But at the same time, it's one of those things, nice in theory, but I think what I did might have still been the better play if he had gone for the whatchamacallit. But we are going to go for the Bitter Blade for the Goldango. I want to at least pick up the KO. I'm assuming he's going to Earth Power the Ceruledge. We know the Ceruledge isn't going to necessarily be faster normally, so we'll depend based on the spread. He switches into the Hariyama, so this actually ends up being kind of beneficial here, and he goes for a Protect. So that actually, because of the Iron Jugulus being faster no matter what, this gives him a safe fake out into the Iron Juke. So this turn I definitely make a mistake here. Knowing that he's going to fake out, I don't know why I went for the Protect on Ceruledge. I think I just wanted to make sure I was going to stay alive. My Tailwind peters out. I should have just went for the offensive move. I end up not doing that, and I wanted to get the Snarl off on the Sandy Shocks as well. That way I'm just reducing its damage output. But Iron Jugulus is not in a terrible spot here, so we can go ahead. We can go for the Air Slash to pick up that kill on the Hariyama, which I was kind of hoping. Again, I figured he might Earth Power here, being faster after faking out and not letting me get the Tailwind up. He ends up deciding to go for the Earth Power onto the Iron Jug. This crit ends up mattering. That's a huge crit there, because this allows him, and he reveals it this turn, that he has Bullet Punch. So now I'm within Bullet Punch KO range. If I didn't get crit here, I'm not... Yeah, no, I should not have died to a Bullet Punch because I resist it, and there is quite a bit of bulk invest into this Iron Jugulus, so that should help mitigate it. Like, the Iron Jugulus only has 44 EVs for a special attack. But yeah, the Bullet Punch here definitely makes it so I can't get Speed Control back, and I figured at that point Speed Control was going to be a little bit better for the Ceruledge, just to kind of help me get through the next couple turns, because this reason alone, because I did not have Terra Grass here, it put me in a really dangerous position with the Sandy Shocks, which I do think Sandy Shocks was putting quite a bit of work. I will say the Bitter Blade is a really nice move, being able to heal you up 50% of the damage that you do, and just being a base 90, 100% accurate move. Ceruledge having 125 attack is also nuts, and with the bulk it has, it's a pretty good mon. Pretty good. So we're going to bring in the Azumarill. So, again, here I'm figuring Goldango, this is where things get really dicey, right? So he could go for Protect on either one of them. He has Protect on both Pokemon. I know for a fact that Aqua Jet is going to pick up the kill on Goldango, and that would probably be the most likely Protect here. Ceruledge is also a good candidate to be attacked here by the Sandy Shocks, but I feel like the Azumarill threatens his team more at this current moment, and what he's probably going to want to do is Shadow Ball the Ceruledge and kill the Azumarill with a Thunder Shock. So we go for that Aqua Jet and just try and cover for a no Protect on that Goldango, which we do get. He does go for the Thunder Shock, and this is where I could lose this game after this. So right here he gets a Para. We're into the last two turns. We do not have a lot of HP. We're still within kill range of the Sandy Shocks after this turn, and that just barely does half health. Now that we have Para, even though we have Aqua Jet, it's not guaranteed that we're going to get that KO. And I'm just not comfortable at that HP, so after a little bit of thinking, I go for the Protect on the Cerule Edge, because here's the thought. He's going to want to target the Cerule Edge in hopes that the Azumarill gets parried. So we go for the Protect, and we go for the Aqua Jet. Worst case scenario, we get the leftover per HP back. We get within full non-kill range for the Cerule Edge. He gets the para. So, okay, we're in trouble here. No way he's going to get 30% chance para, or to apply para, 30% chance for it to be afflicted, then an additional 30% chance, like 3 turns of just this RNG, it does. So, and this is where we're going to find out. I low-rolled damage on the Sandy Shocks. So, luckily we do have Shadow Sneak here. We haven't revealed it. We are going to win this game because of Shadow Sneak, and we are full HP. There's no way for him at this point to live, or to beat me, but came a little bit closer than I would have liked. Those paras and the crit definitely had a effect, but I was able to play around it regardless, and we had a really good game against Toxin. He played really well. The Hariyama switch in was good. And definitely gave him like favor back. So he knows how to play around the speed control, and he does an excellent job with that. But good games to Toxin, and we're going to go play Raz next week for week 2. Alright, later everyone.